Universe.
What's up, y'all? Straight to it. Well, I mean, hey, it's a storm going on right now outside, so if y'all hear, like, I'm sorry, bro. Anyway, straight to it. So Drake realistically isn't liked by a lot of people. You know, I've previously spoke about how Drake is kind of, well, there's no point in putting this nicely, hated by a lot of different artists, fans, new publications. Like, it's very easy to not like Drake. But one thing that no one has been able to just put to the side is that this man has made plenty of hits. This is not something that is even like open for debate either. No, like we legit already understand that Drake has made plenty of songs that are legendary and the plaques behind those songs are deserved. But what if I told you that none of that even matters? Not a single thing. Now you might be like, well, that's your opinion, UV. Your opinion doesn't matter. Yeah, no shit. I'm human just like you. It doesn't really matter. Except you're watching my video. Fuck nigga. Drake's hits don't matter because they're just simply not important in what I'm gonna be discussing today. There's no elaborate way to put it because Drake just isn't influential. In fact, he never was. In fact, if he ever was, it was so minute that you wouldn't even really be able to notice it. And ironically enough, there's so many different instances of Drake being the one who's actually influenced more than anything, because you'd actually start to notice that Drake is just a leech and sucks up your energy, damn near ruins your career unless you suck him dry, and uses what he learned from you as an artist. This is the music industry we're talking about. But before we even get into Drake not really having influence, let me play devil's advocate first, right? Because when I think about who would even be considered like influenced by Drake, we'd have to start like power scaling, cause nigga, it's Drake. Niggas been popular since like 2006, so of course niggas are somewhat gonna moderately be inspired by what he's done. Like, oh daddy, I wanna be a rapper. Why did I throw daddy in there? My fault. Point being, bro, like nigga, yes, Drake has inspired people, but he has no real influence. Does that make sense? Like, okay, there was an era where niggas was trying to say Jack Harlow was a Drake clone. Jack Harlow was stepping into the Drake clone territory, I guess you could say, and people even said he was the white Drake at one point, and he was gonna take Drake's spot. Idiots. Like, this hip-hop babble and babble needs to just get cut off sometimes. Like, some of y'all legit need your mics taken away. I hate hip-hop podcasts sometimes so much. I can confidently right now say though that surely Jack Harlow didn't want to be Drake, especially because, well, he was probably able to peep game that the culture, quote unquote, hates Drake. Having the crown and not being black enough is working against Drake. Imagine how tough they'll be on an actual white guy. That's why Tyler was like, well, Marshall had this problem, what the fuck was they telling them? Is it because of status or is melanin black? A fucking bar, by the way. Point being, Jack Harlow is realistically one of the only ones from my recent memory that was getting actual clone allegations towards Drake. As for the rest of the industry, no one is trying to be Drake. And it's not because it's impossible. Like, okay, nigga, you can sing, you can have ghostwriters. What's really putting Drake in a different closet from everyone else at this current point right now other than the undeniable hits? Literally nothing. That's why I can confidently say this nigga has no real influence, bro. Shit, I'll go as far as saying getting a Drake feature like right now would hurt you more than it would help you. I mean, let's get back to that. Now, who has Drake did wrong as far as the music industry goes? Like, it's up in the air, but this video by Loaista kind of explains it pretty well that working with Drake in any way, shape, or form can actually fuck you over a little bit. But the main point of this video is that no one wants to follow in this nigga's footsteps. Like I said earlier, yes, he has absolute banger songs and plaques, but that shit doesn't give him influence. And what I mean is, like, okay, look at the underground rap scene right now. Thousands of kids trying to make it to, well, truthfully, I don't know what these niggas want. Some of them want fame, some of them want money, and some of them want minors. Damn, I don't know why that video just showed up right there. I meant to put a black screen. Anyway, I said some of them want minors. What is going on? In the underground scene specifically, it's very clear who actually has influence. Like Death Grips, Blade, Young Lean. I'm skipping over the absolute most obvious one because I'm actually planning on doing a video about how Young Thug's influence is actually a bit too much for the underground. Looking at you, 9 victims. Anyway, the point being is that the fact that MC Ride has more influence on an entire generation of kids over Drake should really tell you something. But you wanna know the difference between MC Ride and Drake? Well, first of all, one of them didn't text Millie Bobby Brown. But second, one of them actually did something that hasn't been done before. It's such an obvious answer, but the only thing Drake has truly done different is come out with hit after hit after hit after hit. No one's denying that. He said himself, "The man I see in the mirror is actually going platinum. Not sure if you know, but I'm actually Michael Jackson." While it's just lyrics, let's be honest, he probably genuinely thinks of himself that highly to compare himself to one of the best-selling artists of all time because, well, that's what hip-hop did for him. God damn, this storm is annoying. When you think of popular mainstream rapper, his name is probably what pops up in your head. Now think of rappers who came after him that are actually trying to be him. And don't y'all say shit about The Weeknd or goddamn Pressa. If you came up with the name in your head, guess what? I'm very proud of you. Here's your fucking cookie or whatever. But like, me personally, I can't really think of too many names of niggas who are trying to be exactly like Drake. Now think of rappers who are trying to be like Young Thug or who are heavily influenced by Young Thug. Shit, I could do that. Tana, 9 Victims. No disrespect because I love him, but Saw Baby. Literally anybody who's ever said slats or slime, like, y'all actually know where that comes from. I would hope to God that y'all would know where that comes from. And y'all haven't just been saying that for the past almost 11 years for no reason. Now who the fuck is talking about some 6? Not a fucking soul. You wanna know why? Because Drake isn't cool, bro. I don't give a fuck how much money you have, bro. It can't unlame you. There's a very good reason why everyone started turning on Drake, including the entire music industry and that whole Kendrick Lamar beef. They don't wanna see this nigga win anymore. Partially because he's been doing it for too long, but mainly because Drake is weird as fuck. This nigga talking about some damn high school pics, you was even bad then. On, what was that song called? Oh yeah, Nice for What? Like, what does that even mean? Alright, my bad. This is about his influence, or rather the lack thereof. Sometimes it's a mystery to me how he even became as big as he did, because I think about niggas like Travis Scott, Future, Young Lean, Uzi. Even though I'm mad at this nigga right now, I'll say his name, Tyler the Creator. They should be just as big, or if not bigger. Now granted, with Tyler, that nigga's actually huge, but in a very different way. Pause. Either way, I be wondering why this nigga Drake is that big. Then I remember, the man has mastered his branding. He barely does interviews, and if he does do them, they're very crafted to shine him in a very well positive light, like that Rap Radar one. Because if I were to interview Drake, I'm asking him why he smooched a you know what? Never mind. Y'all can do the research. He did something really weird on stage. And I know she came out and was like, "Oh, I wanted to do that, yada yada." Fuck all that. Fan or not, that shit still struck me as unusual. And I'd be slick and ask this nigga about what he thought about XXXTentacion. I wonder what kind of reaction I would get from that nigga. You know, then it's like he's so good at following trends. It's not even funny. Like, he acts like he's just on it the whole time. This nigga has a team that just pays attention to shit. Why the literal fuck would he get Yeat on his album damn near at the peak of Yeat's career, other than just knowing that Yeat had an actual influence on the entire scene at that time? Like, looking at Drake like a pop artist, it would make immensely more sense on why, you know, his influence isn't so strong in hip hop. But this is a rapper we're talking about. Nobody's looking at Drake in the come up stage talking about, "I want to be like him, he's so cool, he was doing cool shit before everybody." No, he wasn't. He got shot on a TV show. That's all he did. You know, I know this video is gonna get perceived too, like, "You're just hating, dude. Drake clears anybody you listen to." Hey, not gonna lie, shut that shit up, because at this current moment, rap is so fucking boring, I barely even listen to it as much as I used to, and Drake is not clearing anything I listen to outside of rap. Now listen, y'all, I just have to remind you of why people who make rap music aren't exactly following in his footsteps like other artists. I'm not sitting here saying Drake is a bad artist. Occasionally, I still play this nigga, and on top of all that, I briefly spoke about it, how before, this nigga Drake has been in the game for a very long time. So long that if I really sat here and broke down each and every little intricacy about how he's genuinely not influential in any way, shape, or form to the current, let me say again, current community of hip hop, we'd be here for about an hour. And I'd have to do way more research. Y'all gonna learn clicking on a UVXCX video is just getting UVXCX's opinion. A little bit of fact, but mainly my opinion. So I'm not gonna sit here and think piece you to death. I find content like that really fucking boring. But I feel like if you read the title of this video and clicked on it, you probably moderately agree that ain't nobody trying to be like Drake right now. And other than him just making very above the quicksand music, which basically means he makes music that people can just accept. He just doesn't have that swag about himself that makes you go like, I want to copy him. Like I said earlier, it's mainly because he didn't really do anything that different. Like, yes, he's blended R&B and rapping extremely well, which is more of a mainstream thing to do now. But it's not like niggas was jotting down notes in the Drake classroom for that. That naturally came because genre bending has gotten immensely more popular since like the mid 2000s. That's why niggas like Lil Nas X made country songs. That's why Wayne did a rock album. And that's why Kanye went the Jesus route. Whole time this nigga was topping off his cousin or whatever. I'm sorry, that was that was very distasteful. I'm so sorry. But you get my point. Drake didn't do anything new. He just did what was already done before at a higher level. And let me hone in on, why he's not so influential, in rap again, because some people are like, after Scorpion, he kind of never really took that pop route, but it's like there is no real pop route for Drake because he's always given us like a mix of different genres on every single album. Like, sure, the songs that usually he goes up off of are more so pop songs that will reach a wider audience. Like, of course, like we could sit here and be like, oh yeah, well, Drake's a rapper, but like whole time, like he's more so of a pop star, if like anything. Like, this is just a realistic pop star, and I feel like that's why niggas like in rap don't really like copy him like that. So I don't want to say like he has no influence, like period. That's what I've been trying to say this whole video. Like, he doesn't have no influence, period. On like the younger scene of like these kids that like, want to start rapping, they want to be cool, and Drake, just like I said before, is not cool. Like, niggas want to be like Young Thug, who was doing all this, wearing the dresses and getting naked for covers and all this different shit, that I guess now is cool, but niggas back then was looking at it like what is this guy doing? Like, bro, do y'all remember when Thug came out and nobody really understood what he was talking about? Like, nobody knew what he was saying. Like, and it's like now niggas are doing that now. Like, Thug is an actual trendsetter. Drake, I'm sorry, he is not a trendsetter. Like, I'm not debating this. It's just, I'm not gonna have this discussion. And I feel like the true influential artists always have brought something new to whatever scene they were a part of. Anyway, I'm UVXCX. God, I'm so hungry. Later.
Darko's doppelganger mixed with Ray Liotta. Pride to Doja, Burberry to Mask, loud aroma, plug in Wakiyama. Got the